Hey everyone, today I want to do a video about using SimRacing Studio or using SimHub for the eracing labs motion platform. I've been using SimRacing Studio since I got the system. It's almost going to be a year, and it's been great. It's been working as I expected, and to be honest, it really exceeded my expectations. But SimHub recently came up with a new solution with their with their solution to support motion, and erasing lab just works out of the box. It's very few steps to set it up, and bam, it just works. And I'll be honest with you, I did not expect it to work that well compared to SimRacing Studio. So this video, in a way, is a comparison between the two, and just a quick guide on how to set up the SimHub, although it's very easy and straightforward. How to set up the SimHub for the erasing lab solution, and at the end, I'm just going to do a quick video driving with the SimHub. There are a lot of videos that I have on here that I'm using. It's all using SimRacing Studio, but for this video, towards the end, I'm just going to use SimHub, and maybe you can tell the difference. I can tell the difference. I mean, I can I can really feel the movement of the car. It's just way better. I'll be honest with you, to compared to SimRacing Studio. But again, I'll give you my steps to set it up, and I will also show you some of the configs that I have to get to the ideal performance, at least from my setup, from my perspective. And hopefully, you can try it, and just share with me and let me know which one you think is better. The most important thing is when you're switching from, or at least if you want to just test out the difference between SimRacing Studio and the SimHub, just ensure from here that when you launch SimRacing Studio is make sure you turn off the motion box or the motion comp or the haptic R. Turn all of these off. And by default, they are set to auto. But I recommend, you should just come here and just turn these two off. Same thing with the, just make sure you turn these off. And also when you run it using SimHub, close, make sure if you have something else that is using SimRacing Studio, for example, in my case, I have the Tension R, I have the IntelliBox, then yes, just leave SimRacing Studio on, but 100% make sure you turn off these motion box and motion settings that you have in here. Do not leave it on auto. But if you don't use SimRacing Studio for anything else outside of motion, I recommend turn them off and even shut down SimRacing Studio if you don't need it. That's the step. That's step one. Also, if you remember, when you set up the motion using SimRacing Studio, you have to designate and say which actuator is connected to which port on the Thanos board. So take a screenshot of that because you're going to need those when you are configuring SimHub. I think I have maybe I have it in pictures. Let me just check real quick. Yep. So in my case, if you see here, this is where the actuators are connected. So if you do not want, if you forgot, or if you don't want to go back and look for it, just make sure that you look at these settings here. Take a screenshot of it from SimRacing Studio, because you're not going to be able to get to this unless the motion is on and the system is connected, and then you'll be able to go in and take a shot of that. So first thing first, before you turn off a motion box and all of the settings here, go into your motion, make sure it's enabled, and once it's enabled, you'll have the option here like configuration to configure it. You click it, and then once you click it, you will get to this. Then take a screenshot of it and save it. So yeah, that's the first thing you need to do. Once you save it, shut down everything in here that you have from Ready to Motion, and like I said, again, either close it or leave it open depending on if you have anything else that is using SRS. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up SimHub. Oops, let's see, SimHub. Okay, so this is SimHub right here. Let's close that out. Okay, and you have to ensure that you are on the latest version. It won't show up right away and says you have an update. You actually have to be on version, if you see at the bottom right here, 939 or above. I don't know if there's any newer version, but at least the minimum you need to be on is 939. Go to SimHub and download that version from there, because like I mentioned, when you open SimHub, it's not going to tell you there's a new update. So just go get it, install it. And I'd recommend, supporting SimHub and buying a license. I think it's pretty cheap. So just make sure you have you're licensed, and just go in and just add your license under settings, I believe. Yep. So settings. There's a way to add your license. I'm not sure where it is. Yep, under general, and then you can just load your license here. Okay. So once you got SimHub up and running, you see here there's an option that comes up, and it's called motion. So what I want to do is let's do this. Let's shut this down. Let me just do a couple things here and there. So 762 and 686 and 508. Okay. Let me just take a quick screenshot of this. Okay. Okay, let's minimize it for now. Okay, so let's disable motion. And what I want to do is let's try to reset everything and reset everything. So let's reset everything. So delete controller, yes. Okay, okay. So let's go back here. Okay. So when you click on motion, this is the first screen that you are going to see. And the first thing that you need to do is you need to go into output settings, and here on this page you will need to add a new controller, and go ahead and find the controller. If you are using the erasing lab solution, then it is the Thanos AMC controller, and click OK. So now you have the Thanos AMC controller. Next, you need to set up the measurements, and it is in millimeters. So let me take a look at those. So in my case, it's the L1 is the measurement between the front actuator and the rear actuator, and in my case it's 762 millimeters. Make sure this is in millimeters, and then of course you can measure in inches and convert it into millimeters. Simple enough. And then L2 is between the left and the right actuator, and in my case it's 686 millimeters. And then if you scroll a bit down, again, if you're using motion compensation, VR and all that, it's good to set up this this value right here, which is in my case is 508. I don't really use VR much with this, but it's basically the distance between the rear actuator and the front of your seat. So you put that in here also in millimeters, and that should be the measurements that you have to set up from here. Okay, and then once that is set up, you click on the controller right here, and this will expand. And then you click on edit the axis assignment. Oh, let's define the serial port, sorry. Put the serial port here as it will show up. It'll automatically show up. And then you click on edit the axis assignment. I want to do something first. There was a step. Let me just delete the controller first. There was a step that I'm missing here. And basically it will tell you like how many actuators you have and all that. But maybe it's you know, my system is remembering that I already set that up. But it's very easy. It just says that how many actuators you have, and you know, it depends on your system. If you have 4, you just say 4. If you have 6, like in my case, you just say the 4, and you have a vertical, you have a surge actuator and a traction loss actuator, and that's basically what that thing is. So there's an option for the traction loss, and whether it's a front traction loss or it's a rear traction loss, or it's both, you know, front and rear. So it depends on your setup. You know, if you're just gone with the ultimate package with eracing lab, it doesn't have a front and a rear traction loss. It just have one. So just click the option that says front/rear, and you should be good to go. So let's come back here and we go to comp3, and we do the axis assignment. And this is where I mentioned that you need this screenshot right here. And now actuator number 1, you see is port 1, and it's the rear left. So I'm just going to come here and say it is the rear left. Then actuator number 2 is the front left. So I'm just going to go here and do it's the front left. Then I'm going to do front right, which for number 3. Number 4, I'm going to go with rear right. And then number 5 is my traction loss. And number 6 is my surge. And this is where I recommend doing a test. So let's do and click test all and click OK. Okay, and I just want to mention here, when you're doing a manual test, if you look at the bottom, so if you go towards the positive sign, you're either moving up, right, forward, or belt. If you have a belt, if you have a belt, then that's, you know, you pull. And if you go down towards the negative sign here, then you're moving down, or you're moving left, backward, or belt release. So, okay, so this is the rear left corner, and let's see if I want to go right. Okay, front left corner. So going down means that I'm going left, which I am going left. Then I go up. This means it should be going right. And it is going right. Okay, so this is good. Now if you go to the front right corner, same thing. So if I'm going to go to the plus sign, that means I'm going to go right. Okay, it's going right. And if it's going left. Great. Okay, and then let's go to the rear right corner. Same thing. I'm going to go right. Okay, and I'm going to. Okay, this is great. And then let's go to the traction loss, and I want to go forward. Oh, sorry, I'm going to go to the right. Nope. Okay, so this is going to the left. So if I go up, we go. So this is, for example, this will need to be the reverse side, and I'll show you what to do with it in this case. So if I'm going up, I'm supposed to go right, but in my case, the traction loss is moving to the left. So this is wrong. So the traction loss here has to be the reverse, and surge. I'm going forward, and I'm going back. Great, great. Okay, so let's go to the traction loss here. It has to be set it to reverse. So that's what I'm saying. Make sure we test all of this to ensure it's going in the direction that you are testing. And once we're good, we click OK. And that should be it. There is nothing else that you need to set up. And you can now click Enable Motion and then close out of this box. And here are the settings that I have went with. I have tested multiple settings, and I felt that this is really the best for my setup, and I don't think it's going to end. I'm going to continue to play with it, see what happens. But in a way, I set it like to fit for the pitch, roll, and the rear traction loss. You'll see that I set it to 50% and the smooth to 50% as well, and it's all enabled. For the surge, I have it all the way to 100, smooth at 50. And if you're going to ask how to set it up to 50, just click on that, and this is where you can set the smoothing and the actual gain, or you can set it up from here. But the smoothing, you'll need to expand this. Sway, again, 60% and smoothing at 50. Heave, 60% and smoothing at 50. And if you have, we have dedicated actuators. If you have dedicated actuators, like it is in my case, for the traction loss and the surge, 100, smoothing at 50. Same thing for the surge, 100 and smoothing at 50. And if you want haptics, which I do recommend you enable haptics, I have them all at 100%, except the engine vibration, because it really vibrates so hard. So engine vibration at 30. Again, you can play with that, depends on to your liking. Then the gear change is at 100, and ABS trigger is at 50. And yep, let me set it up to 50 like it was. I think I moved it. And then let's see, is there anything else? Everything else I left the same. I did not change any of those settings. But again, if you feel that you want to get a better experience than the one that I have, or you feel something is missing, feel free to tweak those settings. But at least this is what I have, and this is what will get you up and going when you're playing any of these games. Then that's it. And this is what you need to enable it, to set it up. Most important thing, like I mentioned, make sure that it is disabled in SRS. You cannot have it enabled, or you cannot have both SRS open with this motion on and expect SimHub to detect it and being able to configure and set up your motion. That is not going to happen. You'll need to ensure that it is off here and completely shut down if you're not using anything in SRS, and then fully dedicate your setup to SimHub. So next, let's do a quick test, and then you'll see. I'm gonna move the wheel around. I'm gonna do a quick race, quick lap, and then for you to take a look and let me know what you feel in the comments. But eventually, I just want to mention and say that I'm never going back to SRS. The effects that I felt in SimHub, the configuration, the immersion that I felt using SimHub is way better compared to SRS. Yep, so let's go into the race. Okay, so here we are. We're going to do a couple laps in Monza in my Porsche 911 Turbo S. Let's go for it. I'm gonna go ahead and swing left and right, so then you should see the whole rig is actually moving left and right as well. So let me show you that. responsive to the movement. It's like I am in the real thing. Like I can feel everything. So look at that. Okay, so let's do this. Again, left and right swinging. See that? You see my rig, how it's really moving. Okay, then I need to switch gears. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. It's just amazing. I am amazing. Again, left and right. You see the movement of the car. I wish I can show you my steering wheel as well. Like it's moving exactly the same that I'm controlling the car in the game. So it's just beautiful. I have never felt this level of immersion and control and realism in using SRS. So guys, if you see that the rig is moving too much, it's on purpose. I'm actually moving the car a lot, left and right, so I can show, because I just want to show you the effects of these things and how real it is. It's just not like the rig is moving on its own that much. Like I'm doing this, left, and right. I am doing all of this, and really hard. So yeah, bottom line is get it, use it, don't look back. You're not gonna regret it. And even I think if you get a free license for 60 days or something. So when this becomes actually when I have to pay for it, I don't know how much it's gonna be, but whatever it's gonna cost, I'm gonna go for it. If I need motion and I want motion in my rig, then this is what I'm gonna go with. I'm not gonna go back to SRS. And that should be it. Thank you guys for watching, and drop a comment. Any questions that you have, just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to help. Thank you.